Come full circle back to our design topic, design pillar, I should say. And one of the fundamental accelerators in terms of building a business that runs without you is mapping the withdrawal journey. And that's typically where we start with most of the firms we work with. It's where we start in our Wize Vault journey as part of the 18 steps that everyone has access to in the Wize Vault. But it's one of the most important pillars in building your business, Ed. So I was hoping you might start us off with just a little bit of reflection and insight for the benefit of everyone listening in today. You work hands-on, or you've worked hands-on with a lot of practice owners in the last 12 months, scattered across the world. And just wanted to get a glimpse into what's been happening in the inside four walls of those meetings. What are the trends? What are the things you've been seeing? And anything you'd like to share with the group for the benefit of their own journey.
Sure. Thanks, Brenton. Yeah, for me personally, the thing that's most rewarding is obviously seeing the firms improve and get better. And there's a lot of pain out there where people are working very long hours and putting in, a lot of hard work, and they're not getting a return on the hard work they're putting in, or, it's taken them away from their family, and other things have been hurt by the hours they're putting in. And the greatest thing for me is just seeing how they're improving and changing lives, and the systems they're putting in. And Jamie went from, when I first worked with him, working 60, 70, 80 hours a week, couldn't take holidays, and couldn't even spend time with the family. When he was on holidays, he was answering emails and emailing. And today his business is 3 times bigger than what it was, and he no longer works in it. So that's brings me a lot of satisfaction when I see firm owners who follow the Wize way, and they're getting the same results and outcomes, and it's life-changing. So for me, that's the greatest reward that I get out of it. What I see in firms when we work, it's always the same. It's around people. I've often said that people are our greatest challenge, but they're also our greatest asset. And it's most of us grew up, if you like, in a grinding role. And as an owner of a business, we have to know how to manage, but we were never taught to manage. And part of the reason why it's so difficult is because of structure, and you need to have structure. And I use this analogy when, have you ever seen like little 5-year-old kids play soccer? They're all chasing the ball. Like there's, 20 of them or 22 of them on the field, and they're all chasing the ball. There's no structure in place. But then, as they get older, they have, teams, like you've got a goalie, you've got a fullback, you've got the wingers, you've got the forwards, and then they start playing their positions. And then the next stage is you find people who are suitable for those positions. So you don't put a winger in a goalie position, a goalie in the winger position. So you've got to build structure for staff to work within, and then you've got to place them in the right role so that they're working in their flow. And if they're working in their flow, then they're really happy and they're really productive. And accounting firms run flat teams where they're just focusing on the productivity, and they just want to throw more bodies at the workload, and it doesn't work. It's a lot more sophisticated than that. So yes, working with the firms, it's around people, but people is around structure, because when people work for you, they can do the work, but they need you to lead them. And you've got to put these structures in place so they know, what they're supposed to do. And then you've got to fit them in their flow. So they're working in their flow, not working against their flow, So a grinder often can't be a minder. And if you promote a grinder to a minder, then, you know, you're going to have problems. And sometimes even with training, you know, you just can't change the leopard spots. So you got to understand all the HR issues, you got to understand all the structure issues. And you're the coach, and you know, and you can't jump on the field and play the game, then take out do the job of the player and jump in there because they're not doing it properly. You've got to either train them to play their position properly, or you find a new player and you don't jump in there and take their position. And I see people do that all the time. You know, like, it's quick if I just do it myself. So they do it themselves. So yeah, it's around people mainly, and systems and processes, and you know, you've got to develop those systems, and that's what Wize does. It's already all developed. It's tested. It works. It's been tested for many years, and it works. And you know, you just got to implement it, and that's all the challenges ahead for most practices.
Tim, I wouldn't mind getting some insights from you, if you don't mind sharing, both as a mentor working with firms as well over the last 12 months, but you know, internally at Causbrooks with your own practice. Any particular highlights or insights that stand out from your mentoring meetings throughout the year?
Just the importance of knowing what you want to get out of the business. We begin with the end in mind, and everyone wants different things out of it. And so it's really important to step back. This is probably a good time of the year to do it, to step back another year's down the drain, and just think about, is this getting me closer to my goal, or what is my goal? And yeah, just take stock. It's very crazy and hectic in this industry, so it's really good every now and then. And we do that in the monthly board meetings I do as well. And it's a really good example of why they're really good, because it forces you to take some time out each month to think about those quad B and those bigger picture things. But yeah, that would be key. Also, just documenting everything you do. It's impossible to delegate and withdraw unless you document how to do things in the first place. Don't wait until you get the process perfect. It's never perfect. Often I don't realize where the problems are in a process until we start documenting process. So yeah, that's another one that sounds really simple. Jamie bangs on about that one a lot, but we've seen huge benefits from doing that this year, and we're going to do a lot more of it in the year to come.
Great. Thomas, anything from your side of things at TMS, or again from the mentoring you've been doing with firms throughout the year?
Yeah, it's been a great year of mentoring, and I actually have my own board meeting with Ed this afternoon, so I have to report in the same way other people report to us. The greatest thing was being able to hone all the structures in, so that reporting it through the Fab 5 KPI allows you to just tell so much from these KPIs. And when the structure is in place, it's easier to captain the ship through the Fab 5 than if it was like this chaotic marketplace that's going on, because people are just honed in around that. And that's what I found this year with firms was, it's all, like Ed said, it's about the people, a lot of recruiting, a lot of team designing, restructuring, evaluating people, whether they belong in the right role or not, so that they can start honing themselves around targets. And it's been a highlight of that year, this year.
Yeah, it's really good point you touch on there, because you know, if we look at the Fab 5 and the Wize, within the Wize Hub, which everyone has access to, and if you don't have your own Wize Hub set up, I encourage you to get in touch with Selena and we'll set you up with it. It's been a system that we've developed internally in Sky Accountants and Jamie's practice over the last 10 years with the help of Ed and Jamie's fine tuning. But the Fab 5 dashboard, which is the driving KPIs of the practice, it does take time to implement, and it's another one of these things. It's a quad 2 activity that does take investment, not only from the practice owner, but getting the right people in place in order to fill the data points and things like that. But once it is in place, it's just such a fantastic tool to be able to have an oversight and manage from bottom up, as you would say, Ed, and keep your finger on the pulse of the health of the practice. So encourage everyone, if you don't have your Wize Hub and your Fab 5 set up, to put that on your 2022 project list, because it's just a brilliant tool. Ed, anything to comment on that?
Yeah, it changes. Like when we had our when we run our business without the Fab 5, there was always a challenge getting the client managers to take ownership. But as soon as we put the Fab 5 in, it just changed. They just changed. They changed from being an employee to being an employer. And they'll focus on the bottom line. They'll focus on growing the business. Because we pay a bonus based on the Fab 5. And we track their numbers, and all of a sudden a client manager who used to say, no, I don't want any more new clients, I've got enough, I've got too much work, no, I don't want to outsource it, I'll just train someone locally, and to now give me more clients, and to let me find someone, an outsourced person, because it allows their teams to be more profitable, and then therefore they get a bigger bonus. It changes their attitude, and then all of a sudden they're running the business, and which is what I call management from bottom up, rather than you doing it by brute force from top down. They're taking you forward. So instead of dragging a horse to water, you're not only leading the horse to water now, but the horse is taking you to the water without any effort on your side. So that's what the Fab 5 did for me, for my team. So I encourage everyone to, get the Fab 5 going and work, utilize the Fab 5 as it should be used, as a tool to ensure that the 5 parts of your business is nice and healthy. So it's all on one page. I just look at it in one page, and I know my turnover is going up, my profits are good per team. I know the cash flow is there. I know that the clients are happy because we've got a NPS, a Net Promoter Score, that measures the client's happiness, and an NPS that measures the staff's happiness. So staff happy, clients are happy, money in the bank, profits are there, turnover going up, all on one page. And so you feel in control without needing to be controlling, because you don't want to be controlling, you just want to be in control.